Today's episode of Opening Scenes is here. Cousin Adrian and I dissect another movie. This is our third edition. Hey, if you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to it. If you're a new listener, hit the subscribe button. If you're already a listener but haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps the channel grow. Everything is on there. My interviews, the Sunday night talk, and my stand-up clips as well. Speaking of stand-up, I will be at Eno Vino here in Los Angeles, January 26th, 7 p.m. So come see me do live stand-up. Today on Opening Scenes, we've decided to choose Mission Impossible Fallout, a movie that has defined Tom Cruise for his current movie roles, a movie that sets a standard for stunts and the carrying of a movie franchise. We talk the movie itself, and then we break down the categories of the movie's opening scenes. A lot of debate just determining the opening scenes of this one. Well, you'll see what I'm talking about. So here is Opening Scenes, Mission Impossible, Fallout. Hey, Adrian. You should have killed me, Adrian. Mission Impossible, should you choose to accept it, starts now. Cousin Adrian Ramirez is here. He is back for our third installment of Opening Scenes, our breakdown of opening scenes we just know and love. Adrian, you're back.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm here. It's a surprise that I've lasted this long, quite frankly. But
well, we haven't started the episode yet.
Oh, that's true. I may have to take a bathroom break like Carmona.
Well, this month we are tackling the movie Mission Impossible Fallout from 2018. Your choice on Opening Scenes. So
right.
This is the 6th edition in the Mission Impossible canon. Why do you love this movie?
In my opinion, the best Mission Impossible in the franchise. But to be fair, I did have part 3. Part 3 was my intuition was like, part 3 opening scene is really good, but that's like just because it's a really explosive opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is just, it's more, it's more elaborate, should I say.
Yeah, the Mission Impossible franchise, because we tackled this one partly because we have the 2 Mission Impossibles coming out next year to add to the series. But Mission Impossible Fallout 2018, I'm wondering when I'm rewatching this, the entire movie, how much of Mission Impossible is Tom Cruise and how much of Mission Impossible is the franchise Mission Impossible? Because I think it's Tom Cruise now. I think
Right.
He is a full-on action hero, and that's the reason we go see Tom Cruise now.
That's true. Yeah, because when you think of other Tom Cruise movies, like say, for example, what's that movie? That sci-fi movie?
He's got a couple of them.
Edge of Tomorrow, for example,
Yeah.
that sci-fi movie. I mean, that's mostly CGI. That's more of like a staple of the director, let's say. So yeah, these newer from 3 and on are like more of like Tom Cruise, more of like the epitome of what Tom Cruise has become.
Yeah, he really
Doing his
has
own
become.
stunts, yeah.
Yeah, he really has become our action hero. I don't think he's done a drama in the last 10 movies. What's the
Yeah.
last drama Tom Cruise has done? I can't even remember it.
Maverick, maybe.
Maverick, that's a drama?
Yeah, I
He
mean,
can
it's
be
just close, yeah. Yeah.
He can be everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Cruise, I'm going through his IMDb, yeah, and I see all the action movies in there. And I'm watching this movie because this movie comes out essentially right before Top Gun Maverick. So if you watch these 2 movies next to each other, especially the end of Fallout, you can see the fingerprints of Top Gun Maverick all over this movie. The actual practical stunts, the GoPro footage, the extremely clear, like we've seen movies forever. I don't think we've ever seen images on a screen so clear as in Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible Fallout in that helicopter chase scene. So it's
Right.
almost like we're watching a little like hyper realized Top Gun in that last scene of Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah, there's nothing better than like when you're watching an action movie and it's like just like practical effects, all that bullshit. I mean, and then there's like the film market is so like oversaturated with CGI, like nothing. It's all tacky. It's like going to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
But then now and by the way, Tom Cruise is, he's not to, no pun intended, he is the maverick of like practical filmmaking action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
keeping
that's true.
real, like real genuine action movies alive.
And the more I think about Tom Cruise in association with Mission Impossible, I don't think you can have Mission Impossible without Tom Cruise because of the stunts. I mean that in the sense, I don't think there's another actor who would do these stunts. I don't
Right.
think they would like, I'm not hanging off a helicopter. Get a
Yeah.
stunt double to do that. I'm not jumping over buildings. I won't do this. There's only one person who will do this, and that's Tom Cruise. And now it worries me that the Mission Impossible series can only end with Tom Cruise dying in a failed stunt. That's how it's
Right.
gonna go out. He will never stop. He's not going to stop these stunts.
I don't know if you remember Andrew. We're all having dinner and Andrew is saying that his friend is like a huge Tom Cruise
Yeah, my
fan,
brother
I
Andrew.
guess. Yeah, that his friend is like a huge Tom Cruise or just a film fan in general, and that he has it written out in his contract that if he were to die doing any of these like stunts, that they could finish the movie with like a hard fake double, hard
Ah.
CGI fake double. Whether that's true or not,
I think that has to be accounted for when you're making these movies. Like they must shoot all his dialogue first. So like, okay, let's do all the dialogue first and then stunt second. So if we lose you in any of the stunts, we
right.
have all your dialogue, all your blocking, all your coverage already set. So we can at least do all that stuff. And then we'll CGI you. We'll put someone in a Tom Cruise wig. And that's how we'll do the stunts to finish this damn movie. Because it's got to be he's already broken his ankle. This is the movie he breaks his ankle in real life.
Yeah, I wonder how many injuries he's accrued actually,
Yeah,
besides a broken ankle.
I don't know. I mean, if it's just a broken ankle, that's got to be pretty damn good considering
Yeah.
considering just this movie alone, what he's gone through. A couple notes on Mission Impossible Fallout, directed by Christian McQuarrie. This was interesting to me. I didn't know the other movies he directed. He directed Way of the Gun, Jack Reacher, but this was a surprise. These are the movies he wrote: Valkyrie, Edge of Tomorrow, Top Gun Maverick, and The Usual Suspects from the 90s. So a lot of
Yeah.
talent going into the writing of other movies, and then this is a movie that he actually directs. So no doubt him and Cruise have a very strong partnership when it comes to movie
Yeah.
making. So he directs this, and in this, Mission Impossible Fallout is the highest grossing Cruise movie until Top Gun Maverick was released a couple years later. I didn't know that at all. I had no idea this movie had such an impact, such a huge market.
I take it you have Maverick over Fallout, probably, huh?
Yeah, I watched Top Gun Maverick on a plane recently, and there's so much good stuff in it, like airplane scenes. Like you feel like you're there. The actors are reacting to actual G forces in
Yeah.
it. There is no faking that. And I love John Hamm in the movie because he essentially doesn't like Tom Cruise.
Right. He just has no reason but not to like Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you were picked for this mission. I'm gonna let you know right now, you were not my first choice.
Right.
He's just giving it to Maverick right from the start. And also with Top Gun Maverick, the Iceman character, or not Iceman, but the guy who is opposite of
right.
of Rooster.
Right.
Hank, is he Hangman? Who is that guy?
So like the blonde guy?
Yeah, Hangman. He is
The asshole.
Yeah, the asshole pilot. It's funny because he is essentially enamored with Maverick in the movie. He's like, Maverick is like, I can do that in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And he's like, hell yeah. Like he loves him. So
Yeah.
it's a weird dynamic. And then just the dialogue, like in the planes, is really bland. But we don't need anything. We don't need
Yeah,
anything. Like the effects are enough. Like the dialogue is like a lot of repeated lines from the original
yeah,
Top Gun. Like, let's do some of that pilot shit, Mav, or like talk to me. It's all the same lines. But
yeah,
yet the effects on it are so good. And then you watch this movie, Fallout, the helicopter scenes alone, you get the same sort of feel, which is weird because a lot of the helicopter is no dialogue. It's all action, just pure
yeah.
action. We were watching a stunt show, essentially, the last 25 minutes.
There are long runs of no dialogue. But to get back, just real quick, to get back to Maverick, not that this is a Maverick podcast, but I really like when a character, like when I fucking hate a character, like I hated Hangman, and he like redeems himself at the end. That's like that. There's nothing but like it rounds out the movie. So like it's already a perfect movie, but then you have this one piece of shit character that I didn't like. I think I think that was he was not meant to be liked, and then he
Yeah.
redeems himself at the very end. Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say he was supposed to be not liked.
he was
I
so
liked him.
unlike.
I liked him. I didn't think it was that bad. Like I didn't like the original Iceman way more in the first movie than Hangman. Hangman seemed like comical.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like
Yeah, but
all this like cheesy lines were like, I am good. I am the best. I was like, is he being funny? Like, this isn't arrogant. This is like silly. It worked for me though. I liked him.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah, I mean, it did work. Like it, but yeah, it's just like not many times do you get like a character that you just with so much disdain and then they redeem themselves. So.
Well, I want to talk action movie franchises currently. I wrote down 3 of them. Thinking about Mission Impossible. I've got Mission Impossible, the James Bond series, and John Wick. I feel those are our action franchises currently. I don't think I left any out. I think you could argue Fast and Furious might go in there, but I think these are our big 3. These are our LeBron, Tom Brady. These are our Mahomes franchises that are just like when it comes out, you know it's going to be hot. You got to go see it. This is the best we have to offer.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. Maybe like Terminator with Schwarzenegger, but then Schwarzenegger wasn't really. Well, he wasn't in the third one, or no, I'm sorry, the Salvation,
right?
And he had a really minor role in the last one that came out. I think it was Dark Fate.
Yeah.
So maybe,
could we throw in Batman? Maybe the Batman series.
No, because that's a slippery slope. Then we have to go through all the superheroes.
Right. I mean, now we got to throw in Marvel.
Hey, you left out Captain America, dude.
Right. Well,
you left out Captain America.
I think you could throw in Marvel, but you're right. As far as like a pure action with a lot of practical effects, I think it's those 3. I can't think of any other that really are on that level. There's a lot of movies with sequel. The Bourne Identity would have been one, but
actually Bourne. Yeah, Bourne's on there.
Bourne could be on there.
Bourne.
Yeah,
that's 4 movies.
Yeah, now we're at 4. So as far as action movie franchises, Mission Impossible is, I think, the leader in the clubhouse. John Wick, close second. A lot of people like John Wick.
John Wick is the shit. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I want to go through the Mission Impossible order of movies because it's easy to forget which one comes where in the series. So we got the first one, Mission Impossible 1, 1996, and I wrote down John Voight, young Tom Cruise. Then 2000, Mission Impossible 2, mountain climbing, masks. Mission Impossible 3, 2006, big letters, Philip Seymour Hoffman is the villain, and where is the rabbit's foot? Which I think
7!
Then Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol 2011. Tom Cruise wears Oakleys, climbs a glass building. Rogue Nation 2015. Tom Cruise drowns. Mission Impossible Fallout 2018. Cruise breaks an ankle. A lot of GoPros. And then Dead Reckoning, which is set to be released 2023, part 1, 2024, part 2. And I just wrote down Ethan dies, ? Is that how it's going to end? Well, I mean, we've seen they can kill off James Bond. Can they kill off Ethan Hunt?
Fuck, I hope not. But you know what? He's already going to be like 70 when those movies come out.
He's not going anywhere, Adrian. We've just
He's
stated
like,
this. He will not go. You're gonna have to pry him off of these helicopters.
how old is Tom Cruise? He's in his 60s. I know. I don't know
Might
how
be
deep.
60. Yeah.
Um, that's but you were rolling off that list. That stunt in Rogue Nation is really dope too. The fucking when he has to hold his breath, just that whole action sequence.
Yeah.
Because it's cool. It's not cool. I mean, it's like fucking reckless. Because he has like 2 keys. So
Right. He's got to do the whole thing underwater with the
yeah,
mainframe.
and then he loses 1 key, so he has no choice but to use the 1 key. So it's like fucking like a 50-50 thing if it's gonna work.
Mhm.
That was as thrilling as the fucking bathroom scene in Fallout, in my opinion. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, that's fucking crazy.
That is a good scene. Yeah, that one
Yeah.
is good. And like you sort of understand it right from the beginning. Like, all right, he's got to do this, he's got to do this, and then he's got to get out. A lot of the stunts, a lot of the storylines in Mission Impossible are really hard to follow. Like you almost have to suspend your disbelief and say 25 minutes in, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm still going to
Yeah.
enjoy this, but I don't know who's who anymore. I don't know what the
Yeah.
mission is anymore because they essentially do 6 or 7 different missions in the movie. And you just sort of got to go along for the ride like a roller coaster. You just got to accept it.
A lot of double crossing too, like a lot of double agents. It's impossible. Like with Fallout 2, it's like so you got Henry Cavill, like he's in the CIA, and then he's like maybe not in the CIA, and then he ends up being the bad guy. Then you got Rebecca Ferguson, who's like a
Right.
fucking like double, like it's a mess.
It's a mess of characters. There's Alec Baldwin is in here. Angela Bassett is in here. I'm not sure what exactly their purpose is in the movie. There's so much going on. It's hard to follow.
They're wranglers.
Yeah.
They're just agent wranglers.
You just have to suspend all your thoughts of all like, wait, who was that again? Just watch the movie. Just enjoy Tom Cruise breaking his ankle on a rooftop. That's the only way you have to go. It's like you are sprinting to a finish line. So there is that. You know, I was thinking, because I rewatched a little bit of Mission Impossible 2, which is my least favorite of the whole canon. I don't like Mission.
Why did you go back to out of all of them that you could have gone back? You went back to because I mean 3 is like kind of like because 3 is where they established that he's
gave the
married.
franchise a jump start. It was like, whoa, look at this.
I think that's also part of the canon too, because in 3 is where it's established that he's married, and Michelle, I think Monaghan, I don't know her name, but she's like in Fallout, so you know that's part of the canon.
Yeah.
Two, John Woo too, with the motorcycles.
Well, I mean, never forget, I love bad. I will watch more bad things than I will good. I will go down the rabbit hole on it. You know what bothers me the most in Mission Impossible 2, besides the fact that Tom Cruise has like a mop of hair
Yeah,
the whole time. That was peak Tom Cruise hair. I gotta say, 2000. But where do you stand on the masks gag, the mask bit where they can just make a kick-ass mask and all of a sudden you're that guy? Voice, look, somehow build and weight.
yeah.
You look like the guy. And Mission Impossible 2 is heavy mask, but they keep revisiting this gag in all the other Mission Impossibles. For me, I get tired of it. Where do you stand on masks in general?
I'm out. Franchise? I'm out on the mask in 2. In 2, it's stupid. Doesn't make sense in 2, but in the other movies, especially 3, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because like I think they use a mask like so in that opening sequence where Philip Seymour Hoffman is threatening to kill his wife. Like his wife is in mask. Or I'm sorry, there's a decoy in his in mask that's his wife. So like the mask is used really cleverly in 3 and on. 2 is garbage.
Yeah. So you're okay with it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's a staple if like there is like one thing So when you think of like the Chicago Bears, you think of hardcore defense. Mission Impossible, mask.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah. Kind of that's their staple. That's their go-to
Right.
is the mask. Yeah, I like it, but I think it should have been reserved to just one movie. It just seems like a cop out where you're like, here's the passcode, and he goes, thanks. Oh, I'm Tom Cruise.
No, but
Like,
I think it's thrilling though, because like I mean, you think with the voice and the mask that like, oh, you're in the clear, but there's like nuances that build suspense, like where it's like, hey, wait, you don't have a wedding ring or some shit like that. Like
yeah.
that's cool.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It does work. Like as far as much as I hate masks, like it does work, especially that in 3 when he has to put on the mask of Philip Seymour Hoffman in the bathroom
Yeah.
there, and he goes in and like it still
Yeah.
works. I get bothered by it. Maybe because I just watched Mission Impossible 2 and that whole movie bothers
A
me.
quick fun fact too. From what I remember, like I played the game a lot. There's a Mission Impossible game on N64, and then you had like a mask kit. I think when you use the mask, like 9 times out of 10, like your cover was blown too. So that's a cool
Hmm.
little intricacy.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't work. Like it mostly doesn't work. So that's why I think the mask is cool.
Okay. It is cool the process when they make the mask because I love how they show them cutting the mold and like they've got the computer thing, the 3D printer thing, cutting the eyebrows and stuff like that. It's cool. And it also goes like the other part of Mission Impossible. We got Cruise, we got crazy stories, crazy action, but like the tech, the cool gadgets. We
Little
get to
James
see.
Bondian.
Yeah, we got James Bond like with gadgets. We always get to see new cool shit in each Mission Impossible. I wrote down all the gadgets I saw in this movie. Let me find where it is here. Okay, we had the beryllium rod when Benji has to test the plutonium.
I'm testing it's reacting to the
Right.
plutonium core.
And then he has to explain it like, like really
Yeah.
just for us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what is that? There's a sudden reaction when it interacts with the plutonium. It's all good, Ethan.
Like, how do you think the bad guys would actually react if he was like, "Oh, let me do this"? Like, what are you doing? Shoot him in the head. That's
Right.
it. But he explains it. We got the beryllium rod. We got the book that Ethan gets in the beginning explaining the mission, which is Homer's Odyssey. I'm sure there's got to be some reason why it's Homer's Odyssey. But
Andrew,
that's the
comment
book.
section.
Brother Andrew, can you explain why it's Homer's Odyssey? I'm sure I read it in high school, but I don't remember what the hell went on there. Then we had the phone-controlled car where Benji starts driving the car with his phone in the plutonium scene. A lot of neck trauma. We had a lot of neck trauma with shooting sensors into people's necks in this movie.
And we just accept that, like it's just like, got a dart on him. Yeah, well, I mean, the tracking darts do make sense. Like, I mean, it's can be the size of like, I don't know, a pea. But
Yeah.
like, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to derail you.
Oh, that was like all my tech. Yeah, all the fun
okay.
tech stuff for the movie. And then Benji's kick-ass iPad where he can track Tom Cruise in 3D through all the buildings and stuff. That was another cool
Oh,
piece of
wait,
tech.
I had it sideways. Oh, you're on the roof.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he keeps directing the wrong way.
That's some good unintended. Oh, no, that's comedy. That's not unintended comedy. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's fucking, yeah. It's like, are you sure? He's like, wait,
Right.
I have it upside down or some shit. That's
Right.
fucking so sick.
I also like any action movie where like some crazy action happens and then the main characters at some point look at each other and they go, "We should be dead." I love any action movie when they have to say that. We're like, "We should not survive that." That always gets me. I'm like, "Oh my God, they should be dead."
Is that the
In the
is that
beginning.
at the beginning of the movie? Yeah, like where they're like, yeah, like no one's around them and shit.
Yeah, where Ethan has to shoot Luther. Also, another cool thing I like about action
miss me.
is when the two friends have to shoot each other at some point.
Right.
They're faced
Don't worry
with
about it, Ethan. You
Right.
it hit the vest, Ethan.
the person who's being held up always encourages them to shoot too. They're always
Yeah.
like, "Take
Just
the
do
shot." Take
Do it,
the
Ethan.
shot. Somehow
Yeah.
he shot him right in the vest. I'd be very worried that he was like, "Dude, you might clip my shoulder. What if you get me in the face?"
What if you hit my collarbone, dude? Never
Yeah.
be able to raise my arm above my head again.
What if you shoot me in the balls, dude? All questions that should be asked there. So yeah, I do love that about Mission Impossible tech. It's like we got to see some cool, crazy shit that we've never seen before. Like I want to control my car with my phone.
But it's a good blend though, because when you think of James Bond, it's heavy,
Yeah,
heavy fucking and heavy tech.
yeah, yeah.
That's
There's the
how a
James Bond
character,
scene
yeah,
where
yeah,
the guy has to tell him all about the tech.
yeah. So James Bond is like he's fucking girls, and then like there's tech.
Right.
Mission Impossible, you get hard stunts, and then you get the tech. It's a good blend. It's my my preferred blend.
Gotcha. Okay, I hear you.
I don't like James Bond.
You don't like James Bond? How could this be?
I'm just kidding. No, I've liked the last like 3 movies.
Yeah. I like that we live in a world where both are running at the same time. We have Bond and Mission Impossible. You can go see each of those movies in the same summer and you'd be like, whoa, and just taking all this action. I can see all the action. I want to see it all. Well, I wrote down all the action scenes in this movie as well. And I got, by my count, 6 of them. I got the Halo jump, the bathroom fight, the police heist, the rooftop running, and the helicopter chase. So, you know, we're going to do just the opening scene. But you know what's interesting about Mission Impossible is when they do the opening credits, they essentially show you little bits and pieces of what's going to happen in the movie. Like you haven't seen these scenes yet, but you see like Tom Cruise on the roof, you see the party scene, you see the club scene.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is what we're going to see. Hell yeah, Tom Cruise in a motorcycle at some point. It's an interesting
helicopter. I think they showed the helicopter too.
They do. Yeah, they give you little bits of what's coming up, which is a weird way to set your scene, but it's very Mission Impossible. Like, you know, that's what's going to happen. Like, this is Mission Impossible's thing.
Yeah, that is cool. I always talk. Well, when the movie came out, my friend was, they show you the whole movie. I was like, they do, but I mean, the movie is just rocking and rolling. That like, you don't even have time to like really like settle on those images. Like the
Right.
meaningless. Like
Right.
by a bike chase, like that. I mean, there's no context to any of the images, so it's like it is cool though. It's like a little artistic stroke that the franchise has. That's kind of, you know, it's cute.
It's very artistic, and also it's like serving up the audience little bites of the main
Little
course.
niblets.
Yeah, just like, here, have a little piece of fish. Here you go. Have a little piece of steak. I like, this is what we're gonna be doing. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, do one little bite, and then you're just in it. You're just in the realm of it. So let's do this before we go to the opening scene. Let's give our rankings of the Mission Impossible series.
Okay.
Is our number 1 through 6, because Dead Reckoning isn't out yet. My number 1, this may be a bit of a surprise, but I do love Rogue Nation with like the symphony scene where they're chasing each other. Rebecca Ferguson's introduced in that one. There's a lot of stuff going on there. So I go Rogue Nation. My number 2, this was a tough one because it's between Mission Impossible 3 and Fallout. Because I just think Philip Seymour Hoffman is such a good villain. And I have thoughts about Mission Impossible villains later. So that one I'm very split on whether Mission Impossible 3 is my number 2 or Fallout. I'm a little inclined to give it to Fallout because of all the stunts. So I go Fallout 2, Mission Impossible 3, number 3. Ghost Protocol, I'm going to give number 4 because I like the glass climbing. There's some good stunts in that in the desert. Looks really, really cool in it. And then, of course, Mission Impossible 1. And then last place, Mission Impossible 2 / Tom Cruise's hair.
I agree with the last place.
What do you have after Fallout?
So Fallout 1. So I could just flip a coin between. You see, I'm more of like I have like a really tender spot for like legacy. So I'm really inclined to say no, the first one, number 2.
Yeah.
But I really want to say 3, number 2.
It's really hard to rank them. You're right. Because number 1 might be the most intricate plot. It's got
Yeah.
stunts, but I don't know if it has stunts like our later ones. But the plot is really, it's like early email, it's early computers. That
Yeah.
Mission Impossible one, it's really a dark, like European type of spy movie. It's a different feel for sure. And
Yeah.
it was 1996. We didn't know what we were going to do with this franchise yet.
Brian De Palma, who knows what he was up to when he got that script.
Yeah.
He's a very I don't want to say experimental filmmaker, but he doesn't really like the confinement of genres, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in the vault
Um,
scene, just you mentioned the vault scene. Everybody knows what you're talking about in Mission Impossible 1.
Right.
The toast. It gets me every time. I love that scene. It's the best. I love it when Tom Cruise is explaining how difficult it's going to be to break into the vault. He's like, we need 2 key cards, which we will not have. It's guarded by a guard, which we will not be able to subdue. It's backed by blah, 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 which we won't have. And
Yeah.
there are laser wires. And then Big Rames goes, and you think we can do this? And he goes, oh, I don't think we're going to do it. We are going to do it. And you're just like, oh, hell yeah. Let's do it right now. And cut to them driving to Langley. And you're just like, here we go. I love it when they do stuff like that.
I just thought it was always like, even like back then too, I was like, how fucking convenient that like, or how stupid, like the computer that they have to hack is in the middle of a room surrounded by lasers, and the only fucking opening in the ceiling is
Vent.
right above the fucking computer. Are you kidding me? Like, it's so,
I told
like,
you got to just go along for the ride. You can't ask
Yeah.
these questions. Jean Reno, whatever that French dude's actor name is spooked by a rat. somehow we got the tightest security, but there's a rat in vents to scare you.
Well, yeah, so you know what? That may even bump that movie down to like 4 for me.
Mission Impossible 1's taking a hit.
Just just saying that out loud, maybe it's down to 4 or 5, maybe even. So yeah, I'd go now for sure. Part 3 is 2. Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol. No. I'll put number 1 in front of Ghost Protocol.
And then Dead Reckoning coming out next year. So we still are not done with Mission Impossible.
Have you seen the trailer for the new one that's coming out?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Yeah, I watched it right after I did this rewatch. We've got a lot of similar characters back. Also, like, we have a crew now. Mission Impossible crew
Right.
is Cruise, Rames, Simon Pegg. I think we can put Rebecca Ferguson in there as part of the crew now. Who am I leaving out? Because before it was
There's a new
Cruise and
girl.
Rames first.
There's a new girl that's like kind of
Oh, that's right. She's back as well.
on the so Vanessa Kirby, the blonde girl from Fallout,
Right.
she's coming back, but in what capacity we don't know because she's a MI3. But there's a new girl that played Peggy Carter in Captain America. I don't know her name. She's an English actress.
Okay.
Very good looking girl. She's like she's kind of like in a Rebecca Ferguson role. So she seems like an ally as well.
So we have some new additions coming to it. Would you agree the crew is the 3 of them or 4 of them at this point?
I consider Ferguson part of the crew. Alec Baldwin is dead. Well, need I remind? So it's Benji, it's Ving Rhames, Ferguson. I don't count Kirby because she's a little. Her name's White Widow, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't trust anyone.
She's just
that's named
started.
after
She just
her.
started out. Yeah. Which episode or which movie did Simon Pegg start in? Was he in 3? Was he in the Philip Seymour Hoffman one?
That's a good question. I think it's either 3 or Ghost Protocol.
He's definitely in Ghost Protocol. You're right. Yeah. He's a good addition. We got to have the main character. We got to have the main character's best friend, who's Luther. And then we got to have the techie nerd guy.
Yeah.
We got to have those 3. And it's interesting, like, they are really trying hard to wedge in a female. Is Tom Cruise, like, when we get into
Sex
it, like,
appeal.
he has no chemistry with anything female in the last 20 years in a movie.
Yeah.
The most chemistry he has with a woman in this movie is that French police lady who gets shot. in the, and he has to tell her like it's gonna be okay. That's the most chemistry he has with anything female. Like they keep putting in his wife, like Julia and Rebecca Ferguson. There's some history there that I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on, but
Right.
it never really hits home for me. It always seems kind of forced or kind of theatrical. So they've been really shoving in the female character to like give Tom Cruise something, something to act attracted to. I don't know. What do you think about the women characters in these movies?
Yeah, there like you never get the impression that like there's gonna be any like romantic connection between them and
Right,
Tom Cruise. It's all like there's a end game for the girls, women, I should say.
right.
I don't want to get canceled, women. Um, but there are sparks that fly a little bit. I mean, there's an
A
implied
little, right?
romance
Just a
at the
little.
end of the movie. Yeah, I mean, he
Right.
is married in like part three. Kind of wish that like his double life, like him being married, where
Yeah,
he
it
had
was
to
interesting.
live this double life.
That number three is the closest we get, right? Where he's having the dinner party with his wife and they like she says he's like a civil engineer or something.
Oh, I
I
gotta go get ice.
You know what's the oddest scene in Fallout is when he sees his wife at the medical camp and she's since remarried and she has to pretend that like that's his that's her friend to the husband. It's like, "Oh, this is I forget the name. It's like this is such and such. You're on
Yeah,
a vacation?
yeah.
No. I'm here for work." "Oh, okay." And then the poor husband is like, "We'll give you a ride so you can catch up." "I can't. I gotta go." It is so weird.
Yeah,
The husband had to walk away from that going like, what the hell is going on with my wife and her past life with this guy? This is
like
so strange.
like what are the odds?
Right. The husband who could not have tried to be a nicer guy in that situation. And those two are just so awkward with each other.
Right,
Very fun scene. I'm like, can we cut this scene or at least do a second take? Something? It's a little odd.
right.
Yet I still loved it. I love how awkward it was. Why do you
Yeah,
have to have the line, "He's here on vacation"? "No, I'm not." It's like, well, what the
yeah.
hell
It's
are you?
like yeah,
Here to
or
defuse a nuclear bomb.
Hey Tom Cruise, maybe go along with that lie that your
Right.
ex-wife just told you,
Right.
fucking dirtbag.
Why'd you hang your fake wife out to dry, Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt? And then before we get to the opening scene categories, I have written down in my notes on the rewatch Luther's Oscar moment. And that's when he does the speech with Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Ethan used to be married and he had to watch her, but he was with her. And when he was with her, she was like, "Ethan, who's watching the world?" it's
Right.
it's this like weird logic route he takes us on, and then he goes, "He's a good man. You should walk away." And then Tom Cruise comes out, and Rebecca Ferguson says, "I'm coming with you." I'm like, all right, so that speech
Yeah.
was for nothing. Big
Yeah.
James is almost crying in it. I didn't understand it at all.
Right.
It's
It's like,
very
why was that
grandiose.
crowbar in there? Yeah, it was like it's like, yeah, we know Ethan Hunt is fucking about the cause, bro.
Right. We know he's committed. You should walk away. Yeah, and then, like we still don't know like what's his deal with Elsa, the Rebecca Ferguson character. Like what's their deal? Are they hooking up? Are they brother
Yeah,
sister related? Like we don't even know. We just have to go with it. Back to the
just have to go with it.
back to the original. Like just gotta go with it.
She just wants to kill Solomon Lane, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Solomon Lane. That's another one. Is he's the villain in this movie, and I was never scared of him in this whole movie. I feel like he's wearing a weird Amish fake beard, and he kind of speaks in riddles where he's like, "The greater the suffering, the greater the peace," and no
Yeah.
one's ever like, "Yeah, for who?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." Like this is an
Yeah.
odd statement.
What
I
kind
don't
of
know if you know.
backwards? Go ahead.
I don't know if he's an arms dealer or he's good at karate. I don't know if he can fight. I don't know anything about this guy. I just know I'm not that scared. And it's been hard to find a good villain since the Philip Seymour Hoffman character.
Right. I don't even. Yeah. So then, like I was telling someone, I was like, I don't really follow like with the John Wick movies. I don't really, like movie to movie. I'm like, who's that guy? Like, what's going? Like, why is that? Like, I'm all about like the action. I don't really follow like the continuity of the whole franchise arc like I
Mm-hmm.
do. Like unfortunately, same with like Mission Impossible. Like I know I recognize Solomon Lane. Like I don't know like exactly like there's a little bit of backstory that like he gave like like I said like I don't follow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody does. But I wrote down like a better villain might have been helpful to this movie. Like they're giving the mission details and they say Solomon Lane, the anarchist. I'm like, am I scared of anarchists now? Like, is this a bad
Yeah.
thing? He's not a
Anyone can be an
terrorist.
anarchist.
Yeah, and his team of the apostles are up to stuff. Like,
Right.
that's it. So, like, couldn't we get like a more famous actor in this role? Like, what about a Kevin Spacey? Let's make him a crazy villain.
Oh yeah.
Would work, right?
Yeah, let's bring back Kevin Spacey, Pat.
Let's get an A-lister in
Yeah,
there.
let's bring back Louis C.K. too while we're at it. Let's just
Ooh.
bring back all the canceled people.
I like your casting direction. Let's get Louis C.K. in a role in there. That'd be good. Put him in. Put him
Yeah,
in. Put him in
get him
the,
in a room. We'll get him in a room and he'll jerk off
yeah.
in front of fucking Ethan Hunt and everyone.
Yeah, Mission Impossible 7, potted plants.
Yeah. I mean,
Now we got to talk the opening scene. The whole point of our YouTube series here. The opening scene of this movie is quite unique in the sense that we're going to have to debate this because there is a wedding nightmare part. There's the botched plutonium exchange leading into the fake CNN Delbrook hospital scene. So I just lumped them all together as I think that is the opening scene of this Mission
Right.
Impossible, totaling 14 minutes, 39 seconds. I think that was my opening scene, is these three portions included together. Where are you on this movie's opening scene?
I agree too. That quite frankly, there may be like potential podcast idea to just debate the idea of opening scene. Like, what is an opening? Like, when do you cut off an opening scene? With the Departed, we're 30 minutes in, baby.
Oh,
We're way down there.
Right. I don't think we had opening credits till like 25 minutes into that movie.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, is the Dropkick Murphy song just starting to play? Oh, I guess this movie just started.
Yeah. So it's like, but I agree. Yeah. I mean, totally. Up until in this particular case, yeah, for sure. The opening credits.
Yeah. So we're in
Opening
agreement.
titles.
Those three set pieces, the wedding scene, the botched plutonium, which before that comes the Ethan Hunt getting the mission information, which really serves as like the most exposition of the whole movie, is putting up the little book, which shoots out the projection. And then you get all the characters and it's just talking to you. That's the most info you get. You just digest all the info and then into the hospital room where we have fake CNN with the Delbrook character. So we're in agreement that those three portions are the opening scene. So 14 minutes, 39 seconds is your opening here. So categories for this opening scene. Number one, if you didn't see the whole movie, what would you expect out of this movie? Say you just watched the 14 minutes of it. What do you think's going on in this movie? I had two ideas. Given the wedding scene, I would say this is a Ethan Hunt has to save his wife movie. Kind of like Taken, possibly, where like the bad guy, Solomon Lane, kidnaps the wife and threatens destruction. He's got to save her, which essentially was the third movie.
Yeah.
Or
That's the whole third movie.
Yeah, or we could go CNN fake news movie, where you know how they fake the whole CNN Wolf Blitzer, another mask. Benji's wearing the Wolf Blitzer mask. Maybe we could do a whole news propaganda conspiracy movie. Would be two routes you could go with it. I don't know. What do you got?
I do, in fact, like, the news thing is like, it could be like, get crazy. Yeah, like, especially with like the idea of using like a mask, like literal news wars, like where there's just a bevy of like misinformation that like could lead to like fucking like geopolitical conflict and shit.
Yeah. Although, I mean, it would be great. It would be so timely with all our news and all our camps of what news people watch. We could have the scene where Tom Cruise and Vig Rhames are at the news desk as anchors, because they have the mask on, and he's like, in geopolitics today, and then Benji's the weatherman. He could be the weatherman in it. We could do a whole thing. That'd be pretty good.
Could be like a dark, like a dark comedy, action. It could transcend genre, quite frankly, if you did something like that.
I think I think we're ready for a movie like that really kind of does a news conspiracy. We had, I think the movie is Network from the 70s that does that. I'm trying to think what the 80s and 90s propaganda movie is, but I think we're ready. We could do a really good movie. Maybe think like a Soderbergh type of script or direction.
Oh, now you're talking.
I think the public is ready for a fake news propaganda type of yellow journalism deep dive of a movie. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. 100%. There's one movie that kind of grazed that topic. It's called Bombshell, I believe, with Charlize Theron.
Yep.
That grazed it, but that was more excuse me. That was more of the politics of the actual anchor, not so much because John Lithgow, is it Lithgow? Lithgow, I'm sorry.
The bad guy from Cliffhanger.
He plays the head of Fox. God, what is the head of Fox's name? It's
Roger Ailes.
Is it Roger Ailes?
I think so.
So it's like a really scandalous movie with Margot Robbie and all that shit. But I don't think nothing in the sense that
I'm thinking more fantasy actiony type of drama. Kind of like if we could meld Ocean's 11 with this subject matter. I think we could have some. I think we're ready. I think the public is ready for it.
That's a really good idea. I think there's probably a movie there has to be a movie like that.
We need a good one.
Good of an idea.
Yeah, we need a good one though, where we see how corrupt the news is, how these two camps are helping each other out. We need one of those. We're ready. America. And maybe maybe that's what Mission Impossible Dark Nation. What is it? Dark Rising? I already forgot the name of the new Mission Impossible.
Dead Reckoning.
Maybe that's what it's going to be about.
You got Tom Cruise riding a camel. There's not going to be any fucking propaganda, dude.
No.
You kidding me? It's going to be Tom Cruise riding camels with an M16 fucking delivering justice.
Well, I like that idea too. give me that any day of the week too. All right, next category. Who's in the scene and why? So since we got these three set pieces, we got a lot of people in the scene. We got Ethan, Luther, Benji. We got a lot of henchmen. We got Solomon Lane, Ethan's wife Julia, and then we got Niels Delbruck, the computer guy, who this is his only scene in the movie too, by the way. He's out of it the rest of the movie. So a lot of people in the movie, in the scenes themselves. So I don't think anybody was needed. I don't think anybody was, any more characters were needed because we already had a lot of people in this movie. Or in the opening scene. It was funny that Niels is only in one scene.
You're talking about the dude with that helped build the fucking atomic.
Right. Yeah, he's like the scientist guy that's in the hospital bed.
The one that's just
heavy laughing. He really goes for it.
His laughing is so that. It's so fucking sinister. It's this guy really thinks that he fucking was responsible for nuking 3 religious meccas in the world, and that's the laugh that comes out of him.
I also like how he's so easy to give up his passcode as long as Wolf Blitzer reads the manifesto. Yeah. He's like, I'll give it to you. And also with all the tech, all the stunts, all the Mission Impossible stuff, they couldn't figure out a passcode to a phone. You guys can't hack into this guy's phone. You've done you're putting sensors in people's necks. You can't figure out a 4-digit code.
That's just top level encryption. I mean, hats off to Apple, man.
Right,
It
maybe
wouldn't.
so.
They would not unlock it for a mass shooter like that. You think they're gonna unlock it for this guy? Come on.
I also like the scene where, in any movie, has the scene where the uh the the two guys go good cop bad cop. Like Tom Cruise is like, just let me at him, and the other guy like has to hold him back. He's like, he's not worth it.
Ethan, calm down.
He's like, calm down, Ethan, calm down. I love that scene. Like, are we really thinking Ethan Hunt's gonna really kick his ass? Do we honestly think that?
Oh, he would beat the fuck. You don't think he would kick his ass?
I think he would. I just don't see Ethan Hunt as being like violent. You know, I don't see him like being unhinged. Where he's like, I just want to beat him up.
Oh, oh, I see what you're saying. Like torture.
Torture, yeah. I can't see him waterboarding Niels Delbruck in the hospital bed.
That's a good point. I mean, if he's not gonna let his I don't want to say what is it? His side op, like his coworker, basically Bing Rhymes, die for plutonium core. I can see him torturing anyway. That's a good point.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm with it. Also, like when he's like, all right, read the manifesto, and then I'll give you the passcode. And it's like, okay. And then Ethan Hunt gets on the phone and he's like, okay, it's done. And then Wolf Blitzer instantly starts reading it. Like, how did they even get the paper to him? Were they email it? Did they email the PDF? Did they airdrop it?
It could be like the case where they did have the manifesto and it was like a matter of just like security.
Yeah.
Like,
but like if that was really CNN and Wolf Blitzer, like it seemed a little quick for Wolf Blitzer to just be handed a piece of paper and he's like, this just in. Starts reading it in 5 seconds. But it was, it did fake it. So, all right, next category.
You also have to give like film like that sort of cushion. Like, you know how like there's like the fucking, you know, that tired fucking where like it's like 5, 4, like, you know, that countdown that you've seen a million times, and there's like fucking 2 minutes of action going on, like 2, 1. So
right.
Let's give them a pass.
Right. Like, yeah, we said it before earlier. Like, you just got to go for the ride here. You know what? Also thinking about that, like, what's a good movie trick? They do it to perfection in this movie. In the last scene where they all have the earpieces and they can all communicate with each other and they're all over the camp. Like, if they can't talk to each other, like, yeah, this scene is really weird. Like, they would blow up for sure. You're like, I found the core. I'm going after him on the helicopter. You get Julie out of here. Oh, you cut the wire. Let me know when the countdown starts. Like, they can all talk to each other on the walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
The whole scene. So that's also a little bit of a stretch. Like, what is the range on these communication devices?
Endless.
Endless. Tom Cruise is in a helicopter and it's like crystal clear to Luther.
That's true. Yeah, they do lose. Maybe he loses his earpiece because at some point comms are cut from Ethan Hunt. I don't remember exactly how that happened.
I think at the very end, you're right. Yeah, something does happen where they can't talk to Ethan. They just have to trust him.
Maybe Henry Cavill punches him in the ear. I don't know.
Right. Well, maybe Henry Cavill is the real villain in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when you were talking about villains, when you said this film needs a real villain, I was like, well, obviously, August is like the fucking villain. I think it's August. Shit, I forget his name.
Walker.
I know. Walker. August Walker.
Yeah.
Good foil to Ethan.
Yeah. Also, he was like a hyper realized Ethan. You know, he's bigger than him. He's stronger than him.
He's like Ethan is like
Ethan.
Ethan is like the T500 and he's like the T1000.
Right. Yeah. And we don't really know he's bad till, 2/3 into the movie.
Yeah. Good villain. Am I crazy to think that I love like characters like that are cast against type. Like he doesn't really skew as villain, Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
especially knowing him as Superman.
Yeah, I really thought it worked. Like the bathroom scene is a great one where they can really showcase their talents, their fighting, their action, and they're kind of at odds with each other the whole movie. So there's tension, between them the whole movie, which really works. And then when he flips, you're like, oh yeah, he was bad. He is a bad guy. I knew
Yeah.
it. So, and it also makes me bummed out that that bathroom scene, the guy that they're fighting with, the guy who's supposed to be John Lark, I forget the character name.
John Lark,
Yeah,
the Asian
like
guy.
that guy was awesome. Like we killed him in that one scene. Like we needed him for another 2 scenes because he was
Yeah.
really going toe to toe. Like he was a little surprise to it. We're like, whoa, check out this bathroom scene. They're pulling pipes out of the walls, throwing people, throwing each other through mirrors.
Yeah, right. This is a brutal scene. That's one of the most talked about action scenes, like in a good 5 years. Like, have you seen the bathroom scene in Falls?
Really
Of
good.
course I have. Yeah, it's brutal.
Also, the bathroom fight scenes always have the trope where one of the characters either pulls the hand dryer or a sink out of the wall with
Yeah.
ease.
Right. It seems to be the hand dryer for some because you get two handed. You get
Right.
two handed like.
Go-
"Ugh."
You just kunk. You just pull it
Yeah.
out of the wall. It's not plugged into anything. There's no heat vent coming through. You just pull it off the wall. It's just Velcro to the wall.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, back to the categories. I don't even know which category we're on. Surprises in this opening scene. I have 3 of them. I was really surprised / got a little scary moment in the wedding scene where the atomic bomb goes off and Ethan Hunt gets vaporized and you see like this scary skull, like it kind of
Skull.
melts him. I was like, whoa, this movie is dark. It's freaky. And then he wakes up and it's the dream, of course. So I got Ethan gets vaporized. Fake CNN, like that was a good surprise when they dropped the walls. And you're like, oh, they were faking that whole news thing. Wolf Blitzer was really just Benji. And then lastly, when Ethan shoots Luther in that hostage scene, you're like, oh, he shot him? You realize
Right.
he's okay right away. But I thought that was a good surprise in the opening scenes. What did you have for your surprises of this first 14 minutes?
So mine would be like, I mean, it's obvious, like at the very end where they dupe. But I was really duped at that when they duped the fucking nuclear physicists. Cause like Ethan, like it's just a good acting job. Like Ethan, like looks like he really wants to, like he really nuked those mechas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, when that was revealed, I was like, was like, fuck yeah. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I think the whole audience was like, holy shit.
because it was a good I mean, I was duped. Like just he was duped. That's what kind of why I picked this movie. I mean, it's a really good opening scene. That twist is like so good, man.
Yeah.
So good. And
Fake
it's just the
CNN.
beginning of the movie too. It's like it kick starts
Yeah.
a fucking action epic. Like I was like, I mean, that's why it's one of my favorite action movies, quite frankly, like in the past like 10 years.
Next category, best part of the scene. For me, I had the mission explanation into plutonium. Because for me, with movies, has plutonium ever not worked? Anytime a movie has plutonium, I'm like, hell yeah, plutonium. We got to find
Right.
it, we got to get it, or we got to get it out of somebody's hands. And I just love the exposition of the mission. It's funny, this is our 3rd one with the opening scenes. We did Batman, we did Mean Girls, and now this one. Exposition is so important in these opening scenes. How they give the expository information is so key. This one uses the device of the mission explanation through the book or through the little secret device. Mean Girls was just straight up narration. Batman or The Dark Knight Rises was just total action scenes that we had to follow along. So this one is given expositionary information through that little mission thing where it's like they open the book, here's the characters, here's Solomon Lane, here's where he is, here's the plutonium, here's how big the plutonium is compared to a regular sized man. It was all in there. So that was my best part of the scene, is just explanation of the mission.
Yeah, what is it? I guess maybe like the blast radius, like as opposed to like the height of like a average sized male.
Yeah, I think
that is kind of weird.
It was funny. Yeah, they're like, this is how big, kind of like in those like old encyclopedia books when they show a dinosaur and they put a little man next to it so you can see how big the dinosaur would have
Oh
been in
shit!
real life. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, yeah, he would have been 12 feet tall. So yeah, I did like that. That's my favorite. It's just like, give me all the info. Tell me what's up. What do you got?
There's I mean, this is gonna go hard off topic, but with the Lost World, the Michael Crichton Jurassic Park movie or book rather, it does have like it's pretty cool. Like so like before it's like the prologue, it has like the heights, like the length and like height of all the dinosaurs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's cool. I don't know. Yeah, like I'm getting hard off topic, but
Yeah.
like it is pretty chilling like when it shows them, and then like it just starts like with the story. I don't know. Okay, hard off topic. Cut this out if you need to.
You like the scale. You like the scale
I
on
do.
a map. Yeah.
It is pretty shocking because it also like introduces like the antagonist of like the book.
You know
Not
what
that
also
they're-
like? Side note of the side note. Did you ever see one of those like road maps or something like in a book and it would show like mountain ranges or cities, freeways, and there'd always be a little note in the bottom and it would say, map is not to scale. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah, of course.
Did we really think the mountains were this big?
Yeah, what are you, an atom reading this fucking roadmap?
No.
Not to scale. Yeah,
Map
of
not to
course.
scale.
Well, what are they afraid they're gonna get
in the
sued?
United States isn't the length of my hands.
Right? How stupid of a disclaimer is that?
I don't know. It had to be a legal thing or something.
Not to scale.
How do we get so off topic?
Who is gonna blame anyone for a map? That map wasn't scaled, man.
We should
It
add
said 2
for
miles.
surprises how long we talked about things that weren't even in this movie as a surprise on this show.
Exactly.
That's what we did. Oh no, we're on best part of the scene. What did you have? I had the mission explanation. What was your best part of the scene again?
Best part of the scene. So damn, that may fall like under biggest surprises. No, but it's not the yeah. So best part of the scene for me. Let me see. Give me a sec right here. It's probably like the botched exchange
Yeah.
because it also sets up like the biggest surprise. How do you like that? Because it's also like so there's a botched exchange. So now like in the back of your head, like who the fuck stole these cores? So there's all this sort of like paranoia that is built just from that exchange alone. So yeah, that's my favorite part of the scene.
That scene has
Luther, come in with the money. We
right.
need that money, Luther.
We're ready for the money.
Anytime
the
now,
money.
Luther.
It has that cool part of any movie where like, you know, the bad guy comes up and he's like, you got the plutonium? He's like, you got the money? And the bad guy goes, I've survived in this business using one phrase. Listen to the voice in my head. And you're like, okay. And then 2 seconds later, the guy gets shot. He's just gone.
Like, who's writing this guy?
Comes in
Christopher
so heavy. Also, it
Yeah.
seemed like in this movie, maybe because I watched it too many times now, there was an effort to make.
How many times did you watch it?
I've probably watched it 5 times now, prepping up for this, and I had seen it before. But it
Okay.
seemed like the filmmakers might have been trying to get the phrase "I'm working on it" to be like a running gag in the movie, because there's a part where Ethan goes, "I'm working on it," and then there's a part where Benji is like, "I'm working on it." It almost felt like they were trying to make that a thing. Maybe I watched the movie too much, but it seemed like
No, that
every
sounds
character
valid.
said that, you know?
There is like there is that sort of not theme, but like yeah. Then it's always like someone's like in some like excruciating circumstances when he says it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I don't remember exactly when it's said, but I remember like
Yeah.
especially Ethan like is like yeah, it's like yo, how's that coming along, Ethan? It's like I'm working on it. He's like fucking jumping over. Like
Yeah,
I don't
it's kind of
remember
like
exactly.
a joke. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next category. What if they made a whole movie out of this scene? So if we just like try and write the movie afterwards, what if we went with a nice, quaint marriage movie? Tom Cruise and his wife just living their life, going through the ups and downs of a marriage. Or we could have went with the straight up plutonium chase, which essentially was this movie, but we could have gone more straight plutonium. Or back to the news thing, we could have went with the news propaganda movie.
I mean, yeah, like none of those interest me besides like, but like none of those interest me like at all, like as like a standalone project. I mean, if I had to pick one gun to my head, it'd be like the news thing, just because
Yeah.
that seems new. I don't think that movie. I'm probably wrong, like, and I hope I'm wrong. That sounds like a really cool idea. Like a sort of just like a espionage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds, you know.
Next category, details. I stepped on it a little bit. Plutonium never gets old. I just love plutonium. I also love like the film has to make an idea of what plutonium might look like, so you put it in those little like balls in a suitcase. I
Yeah.
love that. Give me plutonium in any way, shape, or form. So I just have plutonium.
It's always in a case. I mean,
Yeah.
it cannot be in a case.
It could be in the case.
Hold on, let me get my rod.
Yeah, get the
Yeah, it's
beryllium
good.
rod.
It's good. It's good.
It's good. Ethan, it's good.
How much for the plutonium? $2 million. It's
Right,
always
like
like it's a reasonable sum too. I mean,
you have to determine a price. Yeah, there's always going to be like a nationality that like you got to buy it from or something. It's in a case. It's a certain shape. Plutonium never gets old for me. I'll take it.
No.
Someone should do a compilation of how many times plutonium has been in a movie, because it's got to be in the 20s to 50s. Plutonium.
Yeah,
I love plutonium.
probably really heavy. Probably like in the 70s. I would
Ooh.
assume
I was gonna say 80s. Yeah, like nuclear era.
70, 80s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that. What do you got for your details of the movie?
Details. I mean, details from the movie or the opening scene.
The opening scene. Yeah.
Like good details. I mean, it's got to be. Maybe it's a cop out, but like the acting job that. So the movie's an act. I mean, the movie is a movie. It's so everyone's acting, but like the acting job that Ethan does in the scene where the physicist is like, he's like all his bombs are going off. It's like that detail right there is like it, because like I was duped like in that scene. I was like, oh fuck, like oh Fallout for sure. Like there's a nuclear fallout.
Got it.
So
yeah.
like, but yeah, it's like I guess one of the details maybe like and it's also like all they needed access. They just needed access to his phone too, like to
yeah,
for this
just
sort of the dominoes to start falling. That's it. I mean, probably a bad answer. I'll be honest with you, but I liked I liked if there's a fine detail, yeah, it's like the acting in that scene.
you like
The acting upon acting.
you like the performance in the hospital from Ethan, from Tom Cruise.
Good. It's good. It's a good decoy. Good dupe.
All right. Next category. What type of opening scene is this? We've done this. We've broken down these in the previous movies. I had for this one, this is a setup action sequence to grab you right away. And in this one, we have all the heroes are in this scene. So straight up action, set up the hero, I think is pretty clear for this one. What do you think what type of opening scene this is?
I think this opening scene is a high school montage.
Oh, got the gym class. You got the English teacher, the cool kids.
Right. I mean, is it Enter the Hero? I'm not even.
I think it is.
Or is
that's
it?
what I got it as.
Yeah, because it's not a MacGuffin. Because I mean, this opening scene does play an integral part to the rest of the plot of the movie.
Right. Yeah. Like this is a movie that does have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Whereas like James Bond, we always see an action sequence that doesn't involve the actual plot of the movie.
It
sets
does
us
feel
up.
like a MacGuffin though, huh? Because
Right.
but you have to remember, it's like, oh, like, hey, we get that phone like sets off like so it's, I
Hmm.
guess, Enter the Hero. Is it
I
Enter
have it
the
as
Hero?
Enter the Hero as well. Set up, action, Enter the Hero. Pretty straightforward because we're just like, here's your guys. These are your guys. You're gonna root for them all movie long, and you're like, all right, hell yeah. So I
Which
agree.
which sucks because I mean it doesn't suck. The movie's great, but like MI3 is Enter the Villain, obviously with Hoffman.
Hmm. Right, that would be closer to a MacGuffin, where it's one of those weird ones where you're like, you see this scene, and you're already in the middle of something. You're like, where is this in the movie again? Like, did we
Got
walk into the
detonator.
wrong theater?
Right.
Got detonator in your head, Ethan.
You got a wife, you got a
That's,
girlfriend.
yeah. It's like
Wanna-
said like I think there's like a black screen. It's like
You got detonator in your head, Ethan.
like crazy unhinged Hoffman. Philip Seymour
Unhinged Hoffman. They shouldn't have killed him off. They should have brought him back.
No.
They kept
Rest in
him.
peace.
Rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Last category. That is scene winner. What won the scene overall for you? I have 4 nominees. I have surprises, fake CNN, Luther surviving, and then lastly, the scenery. I have the scenery as a scene winner. We had the mountain at the beginning. We had the cool, like, we get to see Ethan's kind of, I don't know what you would call it, his safe house where he's sleeping on a board and then he gets to knock on the door and he gets to watch the mission thing. So I was like, oh, this is where he lives. So I'll go with that. The scenery is good. And then Luther surviving. That was a little bit of a surprise.
Right.
So those are my scene winner nominations. Probably surprises in general. I'm going to give surprises my winner.
And the storm.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I am the storm. We had a good little banter, little secret agent banter to it. Some guy drops off Homer's Odyssey in the rain.
Right. Yeah. My scene winner is just the writing. So Christopher McQuarrie. Because like I think since we've been talking about all these categories, I'm surprised, I'm shocked. It's a really good opening scene. One of my really favorite lines in the movie. I think probably my favorite line is fucking Tom Cruise goes up to the nuclear physicist,
What's done is done when I say it's done.
and then it's boom, 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 boom. It's like fuck yeah.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, right into the music. We
So
got to
just
have that music.
yeah. So like the plotting, like that line in particular is really sick. Christopher McQuarrie, he directed Edge of Tomorrow, one of my favorite sci-fi movies like in the past like 10 years. I think it came out like in
Yeah, that movie
2011.
isn't on streamers so
It's a
often.
really
Like,
good
I'd like to
movie.
rewatch that movie. It needs to get on something.
I mean, talk about lack of sexual chemistry between Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise.
Right. He's got odd
But,
chemistry with females.
It's a really cool. It's like a Groundhog Day meets like fucking War of the Worlds.
Yeah,
It's a really good movie.
action. Alien, it's got the aliens in it. Yeah, that movie checks a lot of boxes for me too. I need to rewatch that one also.
Yeah,
also,
then
I
like
also
go
like
ahead.
movies where Tom Cruise's character gets his ass kicked. You know, like he's getting his ass beat by the first beach scenes. He's getting his ass kicked by like Bill Pullman, or Bill Paxton or Bill Pullman, whatever the general
Bill
is.
Paxton. Bill
Bill
Paxton.
Paxton. He's getting roughed up in that one. I like movies where Tom Cruise gets his ass kicked a little
Where,
bit
yeah.
in movies. Yeah, I'm sure to think of other ones where that happens, but he plays it really well. I like those scenes.
It's funny because yeah, he's like a general in that movie, but like somehow like they have like no previous record of like his service, so they treat him like as
Right.
like a
He doesn't
private.
want to go into battle. He's like, "Did you say battle?"
Oh, that's right.
Right.
That's right. Right. He is like a general, but they still like.
He's kind of a
enlist-
beta. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, I might watch that movie right when we're doing this podcast. In fact,
Wow. Right into it.
I own that movie actually. I have it on Amazon Prime. I bought
Oh,
that
okay.
movie.
That's a good
I will
movie.
pop
I need to rewatch it.
Very good.
So I had surprises for my scene winner. You had the writing. Interesting pick.
I mean, it goes under the radar. Sometimes too much credit is placed, on the actors. I'll be frank, on the actors.
Well, that was opening scenes, Mission Impossible Fallout, our third installment. We got one to go. What will it be? Everybody's going to have to wait and see. We got big plans.
I don't even know what it is, guys. I don't even know.
We're going to find out. We got to find that rabbit's foot. Okay, that is it. That is opening scenes. That is Mission Impossible Fallout. Wow. We covered a lot of ground. We talked stunts. We talked crews. We talked crews relationships. And of course, we got way off topic. It's opening scenes. That's what we do. Don't forget, everybody, if you're new to my channel, give it a subscribe. New listeners, subscribe to it. The channel grows. Everything is on there. We have my interviews. We have my stand-up clips. And the Sunday Night Talk is currently running its playoffs. So go listen to it. If you're a football fan, even if you're not, check out that show as well. I want to thank Cousin Adrian for joining me on our third installment of Opening Scenes. We got one to go next month. What's it going to be? Find out. You're going to love it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Tom Cruise. God bless Tom Cruise's ankle. See you next time, everyone.